Should you focus on your habits or your goals when reinventing your life? I'm going to let you know what I did in my own life in this video. How's it going, Reinventors? I'm Amelia and this is Reinventing You. Today is March 1st of 2021 and I've been reading a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I was really fascinated by the idea of habits. I've always been. If you look back on a lot of my videos, I've talked about creating habits that get you to your goals. Well, according to James Clear, it's not the goals that are important as it is the habits. So I decided to read his book and really learned a lot about habits and how to cultivate new habits, how to get rid of bad ones. Some of the other things that I have read about habits and keeping habits make more sense now that I've read his book. Here's the book, Atomic Habits. I'm doing an experiment for the next 30 days. I'm going to incorporate the ideas that James Clear has in his book, Atomic Habits, in my own life. And I am going to see if they really work and how well they work for me, and hopefully recommend some things for you. So even though I'm beginning recording this on the 1st of March, I'm actually not going to be producing this video until probably April. I want you to be inspired to take your own reinventing journey so that you can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. And I believe part of that is incorporating good habits. So let's see if we can create good habits in my life. So in order to work on my habits, I kind of disagree with James Clear in that he says habits are more important than goals, because I think you got to have the goal in order to set the habits, but I'll let you know how that goes. So I thought about it in terms of my goals for this channel. Now every month on my board, it's not really a whiteboard, my board behind me, I put the month and I put my goals. And some months I've had one goal, some months I have lots of goals. I've had the same goals basically this whole year. So it's the 1st of March, like I said, so I've been working on them and I'm close to some of them. So I'm going to show you some of my goals, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to incorporate some new habits to reach those goals. We'll see how it goes. So here is my quote whiteboard. It's hard to see. One reason I didn't put my turn this around. Didn't put my lights down here because it's really hard to see when in the reflection, and it's a rainy day, like super rainy. So I was trying to see if I could get this where you could really see it. And of course, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell if you can really see this or not. Okay, you're probably like, I'm seasick now, Amelia. So here's my board. It's March, and I've had this same goal for quite some time. I'm going to grow my YouTube channel to 500 subscribers. At the end of February, I had 497, which is awesome. So hopefully by the end of the March, I'll have made that goal. Editing Amelia here just to let you know that I did reach my goal of 500 subscribers. And I think right now I have 545 subscribers. I think that's correct. And so my new goal is actually 600 subscribers. So I'm going to give you just a peek at my new board. Thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed. If you haven't done that, you're welcome to subscribe right now. So I'm on my way to get there, but part of my things, I said, how can I get there? So I had like little sub goals to get me to my main goal. So here are the things that I have decided to work on. And that is post once a week, be consistent, and I have done that. Trying to upload about Tuesday at 10 a.m. I have not always made that. And that's part of the habit procedure. I've got to develop some weekly habits to make that happen. So I'm working on that. Better thumbnails. Oh my gosh. I've worked on that. They're just not working out. Update my Facebook pages and the banner on Facebook. I'm not really happy with my Facebook. It's not really working the way I expected it to, and it just feels like more work, and it takes away from my YouTube. So that's kind of one of these areas where I need to make a decision. I want to keep Facebook, and probably that's something I need to change on the goals. And then make high quality, longer videos. And I have been doing that, I feel like, pretty consistently up until now. So I want to keep doing those things. Part of what I want to develop in my habits is to reach these goals, but develop new habits so they're ongoing. So in other words, I don't want to have to write these goals down every single time, or I don't want to have to replace March with April and still have the same things down here, which is what I have done for the last several months. I really need to be doing new goals every month to reach, my bigger goals, if that makes sense. Now, I have talked about having small actionable steps to reach goals. And I do that fairly well myself, but not great. So I think that for me, the habits are sort of the steps for the actionable goals, if that makes sense, or the steps for the actionable actions. In order to create action, I just really feel like actionable goals are really, the actionable steps to reach the goals are really habits, should be habits. So that once you have incorporated them in your life, you continue to work toward the goals. That's what I'm working on. So here's what I'm going to do. According to James Clear, in his book, Atomic Habits, he says that 4 laws, he calls them, to change your habits. And then there's 4 laws to break bad habits. And I think I'm going to concentrate on the positive habits because to me, that's really important for me. You got to make a habit obvious. You got to make it attractive. You got to make it easy. And the 4th thing is make it satisfying. James Clear says that if you want to establish a new habit, to attach it to an old habit. It's one of the best ways to begin a new habit. So one of the things that he says to do is list your current habits. So here I am listing a lot of my current habits. But I added to that writing down my goals and the small steps or 1% improvements that he talks about to reach those goals. And what he says is to add 1 small step to the current habits. And so I'm thinking, okay, what's my small actionable step or 1% improvement that I can add to my current habits? And so basically he says, I will blank the behavior at blank time in blank location. And he says be very specific so that you know exactly what you're doing, when, and where. And also he says, after I do the current habit, I will start the new habit. So that's what I decided that I was going to do. And I realized that in order to have better thumbnails, that I really need to have better pictures. I tried another camera that didn't work. Really, my iPhone is the best in taking pictures. Right now, I just pull them off my actual video. The next step that I know I need to do is to learn how to take the better pictures. And then once I've taken the better pictures, then do a series of pictures and create different thumbnails. But one of the biggest things I've noticed, a lot of great thumbnails have pulled the original portrait of the person and done it against another background or put in some kind of outline to it. And so I really realized that's what I needed to do in order to improve my thumbnail. So that was my little action step that I figured out I needed to do by writing down my goals and then writing down all of the things that I knew that would help me make the goals and then realizing where I needed to start. So I said, okay, I'm going to start by learning how to basically make my pictures pop and, erase the background of my pictures and then create better thumbnails. That'll be the first step in creating better thumbnails for my videos. Now, once I have learned how to do that, then I need to take the next step, like what's the next step that I need to have, and that is creating the outline. So once I learn how to erase the background, then I have to learn how to make that white or blurry or glowing background right behind my portrait in my pictures to create the best thumbnail. And I think after that, probably the next step would be how to create the great background or blur a background so that my picture stands out. And then after that, how to do, figure out what font I want to use for my titles and be consistent with the font and the color and all of those kinds of things. So as you can see, each of these is one simple step that creates the final goal. I'm doing an experiment for the next 30 days. I'm going to incorporate the ideas that James Clear has in his book Atomic Habits in my own life. Today is April the 13th, and I'm afraid to say my habit experiment kind of failed. Let me explain. So my main problem with following through on the habit, well, I guess there were two main problems. And the first one was the habit of watching the news every day was something I gave up for Lent because then watching the news was stressing me out. Actually, not watching the news also stressed me out because I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, that's what I did. And so I interrupted my usual habit that I was going to attach the new habit to, and I thought I could do it by just going on Facebook and checking email and everything, but that just did not work. But the other thing that I did do was to improve my thumbnails. Now, what I thought I was going to be able to do would be to learn how to erase the background in a photo. And I guess if I had Photoshop, I might be able to do that, but I wasn't able to figure that out on my own with my Mac or my iPad. I looked up and watched several videos, and I realized I needed a free, app to help me out, but it was really difficult. And finally, I just broke down. I normally use Canva to do my thumbnails. I broke down and I went ahead and paid for a Canva subscription. If you do that, you have something on Canva that automatically takes out the background of your pictures. I decided to go ahead and do that. I was going to do a monthly subscription, but I use Canva all the time, and it was actually going to cost me less to do like an entire year. So I went ahead and bit the bullet. I know I don't have a lot of money, but I have a little bit, so I would decide that was worth it for me. Now, there are still things I need to learn about thumbnails and improvements I need to make. There are still things I need to learn to improve my channel. So what I'm doing now is using the time that I was going to use specifically for my thumbnails to simply do something to learn something new to help my channel. It could be a video about improving my YouTube channel, or it could just simply be another YouTube creator, and I get to watch what they do and their style and get some ideas through that. So in that way, I guess it was a success, but it really did not develop in me a new habit as simply an awareness of, I need to improve on these areas for my videos. I did learn some things. I did learn that, if you're going to start a new habit, it does help to attach it to the old one, but don't give it up for Lent because it won't work. I mean, there is something to attaching a new habit to an old habit. Something as simple as, when you get up in the morning, opening the curtains, attached to that, put away your dirty clothes or your shoes or make the bed, those kinds of things. You can do that. I did watch a video about a woman who did learn new habits for a year, and basically hers was all about going to the gym to exercise, and she did follow through on some of the things that were recommended in Atomic Habits. And I do recommend following the book and reading the book and following his advice. I still firmly believe in goals. I think that habits are a good way to take action, those small action steps toward the goals. And so that is what I plan on continuing to do. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you've read Atomic Habits, or if you are trying to create new habits to reinvent yourself, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Have a great one.